Hi everybody, hope you are doing well. In this video I'm gonna talk about task-based approach. And this is actually one of the teaching methods, one of the most important teaching methods. As the name suggests, task-based approach. Similarly, it is an approach of teaching that places attention on tasks, activities. And before getting the ball rolling, I just would like to say that everybody who is watching this video and other videos, that the input that I provide on my videos is preliminary. It serves a guiding and helping function, and for more understanding and better knowledge, research and extensive reading is required. Task-based approach was developed by Willis 1998. And the concept of task is very important to this approach. So here I try to provide some definitions to this concept. Tasks are activities in which meaning has the primary focus. Sheehan 1996. Nunan 1989 defines task as a piece of classroom work which involves learners in comprehending, manipulating, and producing the target language, while the focus is on the meaning rather than the form. So let's try to illustrate this. So tasks apparently are classroom activities in which learners are engaged, they manipulate the language, they speak to one another, they try to make use of the language, and more emphasis is on the meaning, whether they understand each other or not, and the focus is not on grammar and vocabulary. Task-based approach is based on some principles that formed part of the communicative language teaching 1970s, 1980s, and to know about these principles, go back to the video that talks over the communicative approach. The context in which task-based approach was developed, well, here we go back to 1990s, and at that time there were researchers in second language acquisition, for example Long and Brooks and others. These researchers showed support to tasks, which means they developed the conception that tasks and activities that engage learners are so essential to language learning. Task-based approach is based on two fundamental assumptions. First, engaging learners in tasks provides a better context for the activation of learning process than form-focused activities. Here that means that engaging learners in activities, in tasks, it is helpful for them to develop a better understanding of what they learn. More focus should be on the meaning rather than the form. Second, language learning is believed to depend on not only providing students with comprehensible input, but also engaging them in tasks that require from them to negotiate meaning. So here the phrase negotiate meaning is one of the phrases that support the theory of Long. And he and another applied linguist called Swain have a theory of output. So it means that learners, to acquire a certain language, they have to produce it, they have to speak that language, they have to practice it. And this means that in language learning, it's not only the comprehensible input that is important, but also the ability of the student or the learner to use and to produce language. The advocates of task-based approach claim that their approach is effective because more focus is on the process rather than the product. And this means that it's not the outcome that is important, but the process, the task in which the learner is engaged. The learner during the task is required to speak, to interact, to make sense, to make use of the language, and this is actually what matters. Second, activities that emphasize communication and meaning help learners develop a better proficiency. So this was mentioned before, negotiating meaning. So here, teachers who are making use of task-based approach have to assure that students are communicating and understanding meaning and understanding what others are saying. This is the way they can develop a better proficiency and a better understanding of what they learn. Task-based approach is dependent on an array of learning principles. First, tasks provide the input and the output processing necessary for language acquisition. This simply means that when students are engaged in a particular task, they have the potential as well as the opportunity to produce the language. They are involved in an environment in which they receive the input from others and respond immediately, and this actually is very necessary to the process of language acquisition, because now research on second language acquisition more than ever provides strong evidence that language acquisition depends on the input and the output. Second, task activities are motivational, and this simply means that when students are involved in tasks, we expect some peer work or group work, collaboration. One student is trying to explain something to the other students, and this actually sparks students' interest and their motivation. So this is a powerful advantage of task-based approach. In task-based approach, the learner has different roles. For example, group participant, because tasks involve students, involve group, so one student is a participant of a certain group. A monitor, when you engage students in a particular task, there is a group who is supposed to work together. So sometimes one student might be a monitor who monitor and takes care of the whole group. A risk taker and innovator, this simply means that the student has to make use of the language, has to take risk of producing the language. Selector and sequencer of tasks. So in task-based approach, the teacher has to select appropriate tasks that meet students' level, students' understanding, and so on and so forth. Second, preparing learners for tasks. So apparently, before engaging students in tasks, teachers have to tell students about the tasks, what they are supposed to do, and so on and so forth. Second, raising consciousness. So in the pre-task, the stage that before students are engaged in tasks, teachers have to raise students' consciousness to the task and tell them what they are expected to do, and so on and so forth. Examples of tasks are: G-Scout tasks are activities in which learners combine different pieces of information to form a whole. Information gap tasks, tasks in which learners have to fill in the gap with a word or a phrase or something. Sentence completion tasks, tasks in which students have to complete sentences or paraphrase sentences, for example, a reported speech or passive voice. So we come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for your patience and hope you benefit from this. And please subscribe to the channel and be informed of other videos that will be produced soon. Till that time, take care and thank you so much.